Should I put on like a cuter sweater? I'm already wearing it though. Yeah, right? Or not. Anyways. Heyo, my name is Seisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever wrap up. I'm in a bit of a different setting. I just felt like the floor is more comfortable and maybe it'll give the video a bit of like a more warm feeling. I don't know. So yeah, I'm on the floor today. I tried to make my bed. If I don't look at the camera, I'm sorry. It's because with this setup I can actually see what's going on. So it's like in front of a mirror.
I said this as a joke, but I literally look at myself in the mirror the whole entire video.
Also, another change, I don't have any eyeliner on. Not on purpose. I couldn't find it when I did my makeup. I've also not really planned this video out at all. So we're kind of improvising today. This is my June wrap up, and in June I read more books than I have in all of 2020. I think I read 2 books in 2020. Before this, I read 8 books this month, which I personally am so happy about. 3 of them I feel like some people might consider 1 book, but I consider them 3 because they're 3 on Goodreads. I think I'm gonna start the video by just talking about the books that were in my June TBR that I didn't get to. So let's just start there. The first book that I did not, for my TBR that I didn't read was The Odyssey. I DNF'd it at about like just over a third in. Spoiler alert. Okay, my plan was to read the Iliad, then the Odyssey, then Circe, and spoiler alert, I read the Iliad and then I picked this up and I wasn't the biggest fan of the Iliad, and I genuinely liked this a lot better than the Iliad, but it still kind of felt like a bit of a chore to read it, and since I was liking it, I didn't want to like force myself to read it. That makes sense. Like, I liked it, but reading 2 like super classics one after another was putting me back into a slump in a way. So I just DNF'd it. I'll definitely revisit it sometime soon, but not this month, not in July. Definitely not July. Please don't like come for me for not finishing it. The next book, I don't want to get it. It's like in something. Like it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's like really hard for me to access right now because of where it is in my house. But I'll put a picture. It is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I decided not to pick it up at all this month just because obviously I've known that J.K. Rowling's problematic. She's just been over the top this month. I've been pretty active about voicing my opinions and support for the Black Lives Matter community, but like I don't think it's fair for me to do that but then still support an openly transphobic author. Obviously no one cares about what I do, but like a slap in the face to the LGBTQ plus community for me to read and like support a transphobic author on my platform, no matter how small it is. I feel like at some point I'll read it, I'll finish the series, because like I already own it. It's like I'm buying the books, I'm not supporting her with my money at this point, but I just don't feel like supporting her at all. As of now, I don't have any plans to read it in July either. Kind of opens up the discussion of whether it's okay to separate art from artist. I don't know exactly where I stand on that point right now, so I think it's just better for me to not read it. Anyways, next book that I didn't finish was The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time. I had actually already started this book in April. Yeah, I had started it in April? May. Yeah, I started it in May. And then this month I picked it back up and I read a chapter and a half and I put it back down. I like it, but it puts me to sleep. Like, I really read 10 pages and I'm like, close my eyes for 2 minutes, then I'm out for the rest of the night. The last book that I just didn't feel like reading it this month, it was Amulet, book 1. Yeah, I'm planning on reading it this month. I don't know if it's gonna happen, probably, because I feel like I'm actually in the mood to read it now, so we'll see. So yeah, now that all that negative stuff about what I didn't read is out of the way, I think that's it. Oh, there's one more actually. The Library of Legends. I have it as an audiobook. It's such a good book, but I really cannot I've learned that I hate the audiobook format. It doesn't work for me. I can't pay attention. So now we can move on to the books that I actually did read this month. First book that I read in July was the Iliad, as I mentioned earlier. I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Sorry. I think that this book just wasn't for me. So this takes place in the 10th and final year of the Trojan War, and it's just very long descriptions of war, and I've never been the type of person to like war books or war stories. This book was not my favorite. I think that it was good. I'm not saying that it's bad in any way, shape, or form. It just wasn't for me. I think the second or the third chapter, I skipped completely because it just describes every single person that was in the battle, and that was just, yeah. This is another one that put me to sleep. I think that I'll revisit it eventually. I'll reread it when I'm in the headspace to read it. This is more of a 2-star for me, but I gave it for 2.5 just because I feel like the big reason that I didn't like it was because I wasn't in the headspace to like it. I read it cover to cover. I feel that's not the way to go with like these type of books. So yeah, I'll try it again. Not in the near future, in the distant future. The next book was Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a book that I've been anticipating since like 2015, 2017, whenever I read Song of Achilles. I made a whole video about Circe where I shared a playlist that I made for this book. So I'm not gonna go into well, I will, because I didn't really explain my thoughts on the book. So I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like everyone knows about this book, so I'm not gonna explain what it is too much, and I explained it in my other video. But yeah, I really loved the writing. Madeline, I'm already excited for her next book, even though it doesn't exist yet, probably. But yeah, the writing in this book is phenomenal. The characters are phenomenal. Circe is such an amazing, strong, complex woman. I love her. I loved like the magic in this book, and I love how Madeline Miller was able to make like this legitimate, like literal, eternal deity, goddess seem relatable. Like, I obviously am not a goddess.
Yes, you are. Respect
but, like,
yourself.
a lot of things that she went through, like, you can relate to on a smaller scale, you know? So I give it 4 out of 5. I feel like it would have been 5 out of 5 if I had... First of all, I think my expectations were really high, which is another thing. That's why I'm always scared to, like, expect things, because they're never, ever as good as we expect them to be. Also, it's just a little bit too sad for my taste, and I like happy things. I like to smile when I read my books, okay? I did not do a lot of smiling in this book. It wasn't very plot-driven. It was definitely character-driven. There's not one specific plot. Just a lot of things happen, which is not my favorite format of book. I can't think of another example, but I'm not a huge fan of it. But I really liked it, so 4 out of 5. Not a favorite, but I really liked it. I can't really remember the order. Oh yeah, so did I not take it out? Why would I take it out? Next book, I swear I'm returning it, is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. The cover is gorgeous, but the book, not so much. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, and that was kind of generous. So this is a love story about Penny, who's a freshman in college, and Sam, who would have been a senior in college but dropped out because he couldn't afford it. Penny's an aspiring writer. Sam's an aspiring director or document filmmaker. The characters were so one note. The plot was contrived. The relationship between characters, non-existent. The main character, Penny, she was so freaking annoying. Like, she was just the absolute worst. And Sam was just boring. Like, I literally don't remember anything about him. I left a pretty detailed review on Goodreads, so I won't go into too much more detail. I feel like I was enraged when I wrote my review. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. Okay, that's so mean. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I feel like if you're considering reading Emergency Contact, don't do it. And instead, you should read Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. First of all, this cover also stunning. Pretty sure this was a cover by. This was supposed to be like a Meet Awkward. It was not a Meet Awkward. The guy has a panic attack. Can we not like romanticize mental illness? There's literally a line, I don't remember where it is, but where like someone was like, "Oh, I think Sam's depressed," and then the main girl goes, "If he's depressed looks good on him." Like, ugh! The worst book. So bad. But I gave it 2 out of 5 instead of 1 out of 5 because it wasn't completely unbearable. Like, I got through it. I read it pretty quickly as well. It was lighthearted, which is what I needed after reading Circe. Next book, I think I might be messing up the order, but is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. First of all, look at this cover. So gorgeous. Wow. I anticipated it being 5 stars. I was pretty close. It was 4.5 out of 5. It's advertised as like a young adult fantasy, but it's more of like a scary book. I don't want to say horror, but it's bordering on horror. It was very scary. It was very frightening. I was scared, but so amazing. I think the only reason it lost points is because it's not really my type of book. It's a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and it's about Anna Lee, who's the 4th of 12 sisters, or the 5th, I don't remember. But all of her older sisters died in some tragic way. Is it a curse? That's what everyone else seemed to think, and she seemed to think that her sisters were murdered. I guess what was going on from like the first chapter. But I wasn't mad because, as I said in my Goodreads review, I like to be right. I'm the person like to be like, oh my god, I knew that. I know that's so annoying, but like that's who I am. Sorry. But yeah, the characters were so well written. There was a pretty big cast. Like there was like 10 sisters or something. But I feel like I got to know all of them. The plot was so creative. I feel there was a bit of a romance element, which some people thought was like unnecessary and they didn't like it. But I'm a hopeless romantic, and I thought it was perfect. Where it lost points, I guess you could say, what kept it from being a 5-star book for me was that the ending seemed a tiny bit rushed. Like I feel like if that had been like 20 pages longer, it would have been 5 stars. I didn't know what to expect from this book at all. It's not what I expected. It's better than what I expected.
Something is not adding up because you expected it to be 5 stars and you gave it 4.5 stars.
But if you choose to read this, be prepared. It messes with your mind. Once I got halfway through, I was like, wait, am I wrong? I think on Goodreads I said it's like Coraline meets The Shining meets 12 Dancing Princesses meets, I don't remember what the other thing it meant was, but it's really good. I'd highly recommend it. 4.5 out of 5. The next book caught me off guard. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. Holy cow. And that is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. She wrote The Hate You Give, which got turned into a movie, and it was a book I really liked. Definitely not a favorite, but I really liked it. I have it over there somewhere. And my best friend got this for me for my birthday last year, but honestly, thank you so much, Rachel. I would have never, ever picked this book up had you not given it to me. And it's 5 stars. It's a new favorite of mine. I expected to give it 3 stars at most, but 5 stars. I read it in like one day, which is crazy for me because when I'm the type of person, when I'm tired I go to sleep, when I'm bored I put the book down, when I'm into the book I put it down. I am not a read in one sitting type of person, but I read this in pretty much one sitting. It follows Bree, who's a 16-year-old aspiring rapper who releases a song and then it goes viral for all the wrong reasons. Is how it's marketed. And that's a plot that doesn't appeal to me. Like, it doesn't appeal to me. But the book is so much more. Whereas The Hate You Give tackled, like, the importance of speaking up. On the Come Up is definitely more about talking about how when young people especially do speak up, the way that they speak up is policed. And it's also about, like, how, like, when you're black, like, no matter what you do, it's always wrong. Like, she's a rapper, but she wrote a song and she got painted as aggressive and ghetto and trashy. And yeah, I really don't know how to explain this book. It went in a place I did not expect. Yeah, so this was just so well written. The plot was not what I expected it to be at all. 5 out of 5. I highly recommend it. The whole time I was reading it, I was like, there's no way. Why did I wait like 8 months to read this book? It's one of my new favorites. When I was talking about Cersei, I was like, don't get your hopes up because they're always wrong. Apparently I should just always have low hopes because it seemed to work. The last 3 books I'm going to talk about together because there are 3 books in a series, and that is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I read it on Tapas, so I don't have a physical copy. I read volume 1, 2, and 3. You can read it for free, or you can purchase it if you want. I prefer physical books to ebooks, so like if it hadn't been free, I would have like preferred to get a copy from the library. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was super cute. I gave the first one 3 out of 5. The second one I gave 4 out of 5, and the third one I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It's a male-male story about 2 boys in high school. But yeah, I thought it was super cute. My problem was that they kissed so much. Like, not so much in the first one, because the first one is about them kind of getting together. But in the second and the third one, like, every other, like, what's it called in comic books? Like, frame? If someone ever tried to kiss me that much, I'd have to throw hands. I know people love this. Like, everyone who I'm friends with on Goodreads who have read it loved it. 5 stars out of 5 stars from everyone who read it. I did really like the second volume. But yeah. Anyways, those are the books I read. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!